Good morning, viewers at home. Welcome to the program, Superdawn. I am Vera Osapor.
Starting off with a wonderful morning week. It's blessed of Monday. Say good morning and welcome.
And of course, it is the last Monday in the month of July. I am Precious Amayo. Thanks for joining us.
Well, today we're going to take the headlines. It's a Monday morning. We get the headlines, and away from the headlines, we look at the 2019 elections, ahead of the 2019 general elections. And we want to look at the question of Nigerian unity. It's very important that we begin to look at the unity because that election as a nation is beginning to throttle towards elections, and that election is very important to us, where we saw what happened in 2014 towards 2015, and now we begin to see parties, about 204 political parties standing up for that elections come 2019. We're going to look at it, looking at the unity of Nigeria, and this unity is very important to us so that we do not break away. And this morning we'll open the phone lines for you to call, make your contribution, even as we'll look ahead that election. How can we be united? That's the question, is very important. And away from that, we're going to look at health. A lot of people have said that Nigerians, they don't care about their health. But today we're going to talk about work for life. Do you really do long trek working, or you just sit down and say, hey, after all, I jumped the buses, after all, I trekked to a point, the next bus stop? Do you really work for life? We'll discuss that in this morning's program this day. Well, I'm once again Vera. We'll go on this break, and when we come back, we'll begin with the newspaper review. Please stay with us.
Superdawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed. Now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Welcome back. It's the newspaper review segment, and we want to start with a punch. This morning, Buhari didn't want alliance with Tinubu in 2013. That's coming from the RAPC chair. And in the papers this morning, we have federal government overpays 196 billion as personal cost to 450 MDAs. We also have this alleged forgery. Reps panel wants Buhari's aide prosecuted. 2019 it says budget, INEC budget 1.8 billion for possible presidential runoff. Here, still in the papers, federal government recalls 2.4 billion bottles of codeine syrup. Finally, in the papers this morning, insecurity. President sent 1,000 troops to Zamfara.
All right, starting off now with the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Hajj patronage drops despite lower fare. And also on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, Buhari sent 1,000 security forces to fight Zamfara bandits. Page 7 has that story. FG wants to expand Warri Itakpe rail line to Abuja. I just hope I got that word right. And page 17 has that story. And also on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, Press Council bill threats to media independence. You find details of that on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Reps caution APC over plan to remove Dogara. Page 3 has that story. And finally, on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, Nigerian kills fellow compatriot in South Africa. Page 10 has that story. All this and more you can find on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
All right, moving on now to the New Telegraph. The major headline here reads, "My victory in 2019 will be landslide," and that's coming from Buhari. The writer says, "Saraki, Kwankwaso, Tambuwa, Otom can't stop him." The writer says, "President describes PDP as noisy neighbors." Keyamo, "Defections will impact on Buhari's chances." Senate President and Minister fight over APC structures. You find more details of that on page 2 of the New Telegraph. Just below the nameplate here, it says, "Serap drags Senate to UN over press council bill." Find details on page 3. 4 policemen to die by hanging for murder. Zamfara youth attack police station. Youth beat up DPO in Ondo. You find details on page 8. E-cigarettes, tobacco product increase oral cancer risk. You find details on page 10. And finally, DMO, external debt servicing to go up $18.27 billion by 2027. And the writer says 3 firms assessed 23.15 billion naira from domestic bonds market. And that's all for the New Telegraph.
Okay, moving away from the New Telegraph, we have the Nation newspaper this morning. APC patrons launch battle to sack Saraki's supporters, and the writer says, "Struggle for control rock party in Kwara. PDP aspirants won't quit for defectors." We have here in the papers, stakeholders are excited over ranking of Ife Babalola University Ado Ekiti as the best of Nigeria's 7 to 5 private university. EFCC detective to squeeze Ekwerimadu over assets. And we have here gunmen kill BDC man after snatching $30,000. Finally, from the Nation newspaper, how Buhari will win in 2019 election by campaign. Well, this is all we can take from the newspaper review segment this morning. We'll go on a break, and when we come back, we want to look at work for life. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We want to look at work for health, and we have some nurses here in the studio this morning. We have Comrade Olurotimi Awojide, is the Chairman, National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, Lagos State Council. Good morning to you, Comrade.
Good morning, ma.
And we also have the Vice Chairman, Shaba Johnson Adetokunbo, is the Vice Chairman and the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, Lagos State Council. Comrade, good morning to you.
Good morning, ma. Thank you very much.
Now we want to know the importance of work for health. Let me start with Comrade Olu.
Yeah, good morning, Lagosians and Nigerians at large. Work for Health, to start with, is a program we designed as part of the Nurses Week celebration for this year. And it took place on Saturday from Mojota to Oregon, area of Lagos State. We used the opportunity to send messages to the populace on the need for them to take their health as a priority. It is very important for people to know that exercise is good, and that is why we engage on the work for health. Exercise is good in order to maintain healthy body, soul, and mind. So occasionally people should engage in light exercise so that they can keep fit. Also, we use the opportunity to tell the public that health is a human right, because the theme of our program for this week is that health is a human right. And Nigeria, being a signatory to the United Nations Charter on Human Rights, must be serious about the health of the people, because health should be made available, affordable, and accessible to the people. A situation whereby only the rich can get appropriate care is not good for our nation. So we want to call on the all the stakeholders to make sure that health is actually a right to all the people.
Okay, and I'll come back to you. Okay, I'll come back to you. But let me ask Comrade Shaba. Comrade Shaba, looking at this part of the world, looking at us as Nigerians, do we really take our health seriously?
Well, thank you very much for that question. Basically, let me just say, in Africa as a whole, it seems as if we don't value life. And to that is why you have been seeing, we have been looking at a lot of things in our country, Nigeria. And right now, we want to create an avenue for people to see that health is wealth. If you are not healthy, you cannot do anything. And we want to appeal to our government, both from local government level to national level, to see that the budgeted allocation to health in Nigeria should be increased and to meet up with WHO standard, so that everybody, whether you are in the village or wherever you find yourself or hamlet, you have access to health. And that is one of our objective for this year, Nurses Week in Lagos State. So we want all the stakeholders, and we even appreciate the effort of the government by introducing a health insurance scheme into the system. But we want this health insurance scheme to cover everybody in Nigeria. If rural people can contribute maybe 50 naira per month to the system, I think everybody will benefit from it.
Okay, we'll go on this break now. When we come back, I would like to ask also Owojide, Comrade Owojide, some of these questions. What do you think an individual needs to do? But we'll go on this break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Although before we went on that break earlier, when we asked the question, you tried to tell us what we need to do. But we need to know, as an individual, aside the government, what do we need to do to improve in our health system?
Yeah, thank you very much. To start with, I said our theme for this year is health is a human right. We are taking this because there is a call in some quarters that there should be privatization of our public health system. But as nurses, we are saying no to privatization of public health institutions in Nigeria because it will make public health facilities unaccessible, unaffordable to the poor Nigerians. So we should not. And we will strongly believe that public health facilities must be financed publicly by the government, not that individual will need to struggle to get help.
But is it not what we are doing right now? Even when you go to the general hospital, you still pay, it's not free.
I know it's not totally free, but especially in Lagos State, we have a free program for 0 to 12 and 60 and above. And to some extent, the government is still trying their possible best. If you go to Mercy Street Children's Hospital, you don't pay, although at times you need get for children. For children. Yes. So children. In Lagos State, the government is actually trying. But when you now privatize, everything becomes expensive. And the poor people cannot really access health. So as nurses, we are against privatization. So if our healthcare facilities are actually functioning, what we expect the people to do, number one, is that their health-seeking behavior must change. Where do you go when you are sick? Do you go and patronize quacks? We have a primary healthcare system, which should be the first point of call. You should go to any private, primary healthcare facility that is closer to you. And if there is need for referral, they will do the referral from that place. But what you see is that people are not even patronizing the primary healthcare system. We need to change our orientation about this. At the same time, they shouldn't patronize quacks. There are so many things going on in the country. You see people hawking all sorts of chemicals. Concussions. You see them buying from motor parts and all these things. It's affecting our health. So, and people should make sure that they go for regular checkup all the time. Many people just see them on the road, they collapse. Maybe for the first time, they are just discovering that they have hypertension in their system. If they have been checking regularly, check your blood pressure regularly, check your sugar level regularly, you will discover if you are developing anything that should be corrected on time. Okay. So people should assess health at the appropriate time.
Comrade Shaba Johnson, looking at what he has said, also looking at work for health, will it help? Will it improve when you do working? Because some people will tell you, we do work every day. You walk down to your office, to the next place, the bus stop. Work for health, will it help?
Well, we need to do exercise on daily basis. And in order to help ourselves, in order to allow blood to flow normally within your system. And we would like to encourage everybody. We are trying to change our life pattern to meet up with the Europeans or the Western world. In those good old days, we have our elderly parents that lived up to 100 years. But nowadays, you can't do it. But and when this affluent came into our system, everybody wants to behave like a big man. You can see a lot of fast food joints around now, and people just feel that taking those things, if people are doing it, let me too do it. You see people going there to let people know that my standards have changed now, so I should behave like how others are behaving. So we want to let people know natural food is the best for us. And that is what our forefathers have been taking before now. So because of the change in the system, we want to appeal to everybody. If you can do it, you can do it in your house, jogging in your sitting room, or trekking from one area to the other. and just exercising all your body, that one will help. But for us to just feel that I want to go to one fast food joint and take whatever I want to take there and come back home and not doing anything, I don't think that will be good for anybody.
Okay, what do you think government needs to do? Now you said they shouldn't privatize the hospitals. We have public health centers
yes,
where people still pay money, though they don't pay a lot of money, but people say they don't have enough doctors and nurses there. What can we do?
Well, I will appeal to the rich people in Nigeria, because government cannot do it alone. You can see that in terms of problem that we are facing in Africa or in Nigeria, you can see that people from America are donating, are assisting us in facing all these problems. So we have big people, we have millionaires and billionaires in Nigeria that can please part of this money, let it go into the system and let everybody partake in the National Health Insurance Scheme. So if you contribute your little money from 50 naira, if you can galvanize 50 naira in 1,000 places, it's a big money. And that is why we want to let the government sensitize everybody. Let us be a partaker. It will be better for you and me if we can have access to health. If in every hamlet we have a primary health care center in those areas, you don't need to trek about 100 kilometers before you can access such a thing. So if all of us partake in this thing, government contribute its own quota, and you and me will contribute our own quota for the betterment of the system, I think that will be the best thing for all of us.
Okay, I need to ask Comrade Olurem to me, Awojide, this question. Looking at what we have said so far, what are we going to benefit from your program? What will the public benefit from your program? In rounding off.
Yes, what we expect the public to benefit is a change in their orientation. Once they change their orientation to health, their own health, their seeking behavior, and they follow the advice from the professionals, I'm sure it's going to be a better thing. And they can also join us in telling the government to do the needful. How much is our budgetary allocation to health? We're expecting 15% of the total budget. But what we have is not even up to 8%. So they can help us because we know they have a contact here and there. They can talk to the government to do the needful so that our healthcare system in Nigeria can greatly improve. Okay,
finally, let me ask Comrade Shaba, what else do you think the public needs to know now concerning your program?
Well, you know, we are just using this program to showcase nursing profession in Nigeria. And you know, when people travel outside this country or abroad, when they get there, they know the value of nurses. So on our own part, we want people to really know that we have been keeping quiet for long.
Yes, I can say I'm surprised to see nurses here. Yes, I'm surprised. Yes, go ahead.
So we have been keeping quiet for long, and people just feel, you know, when you get to some private hospitals, you see quacks there, they call themselves nurses, they put on uniform like nurses, and people just feel that those people are nurses. But this time around, we want to showcase ourselves to let them know that we as nurses in Nigeria, some of us are in abroad and they are doing fine and better. We want the government to create a conducive environment for nurses to be able to do their work effectively by providing the means for us to give services to our clients as at when due, and to provide those things that are consumable that we need to work with, so that everybody will enjoy the benefit of democracies as the politicians normally tell us. So if they release enough money to the health sector for everybody to benefit from it, I think it will be better for us for even taking care, people coming to hospital for treatment. If our environment is so conducive, I think it will be better for all Nigerians.
I want to thank you for coming, but one word from you. What time is the event today?
Starting by 8 o'clock. They must have started now.
Okay.
We just took our time to be here.
Okay, I want to thank Comrade Olurotimi Awojide, the Chairman, National Association of Nurses and Midwives, Lagos State Council. And also I want to thank Comrade Shaba Johnson Adetokunbo, also the Vice Chairman for the association. Thank you so much for coming on this segment.
Thank you for having us.
Well, we'll go on this break now, and when we come back, Superdawn will continue. Stay with us. Welcome back. We want to look at 2019 general elections. We're looking at, the question really is the Nigerian unity. Are we united? Preparation has started in earnest, where parties are beginning to look, even sworn enemies have begun to look at each other and saying, hey, we must come together to form a team, formidable or no formidable team, but we must be together until after the election. So we want to look at how Nigerians can be together even as they go into the polls. Today we have our guest in the studios, Comrade Korodo Tokunbo is in the studio, former Nupeng Zonal Chairman and the United Labour Congress Chairman, Lagos. Good morning to you, comrade.
Happy to be with you.
Okay, when you look at the polity right now, and then you also look at our politics as it is, in this moment, what are your concerns about, our national unity?
Well, firstly, let me say this, because it's just a very pathetic situation that we find ourselves. I can't imagine the kind of heat in every angle in the entire nation as a whole, because our politicians are always behaving as if they don't have any other job to do than to be in politics. And if you look at all of them, they have no passion, they have no program for us, we Nigerians. Their intention is how to fill their pockets, how to loot the treasury, and not only looting for themselves, they are also looting for their children yet unborn at the detriment of we Nigerians. And I can't blame them. We should blame ourselves. Why should we blame ourselves? Because we always love to be involving in stomach infrastructure. I cannot expect Nigerians that have conscience that somebody will induce me before voting for that person. If you give me any money as a Nigerian, it's part of my money. I will collect it. But that one doesn't mean that collection will dictate my conscience. No. I will collect the money and still do what I think is right. If you say you are not collecting the money, you are only wasting your time. The money will never be returned back to Treasury. It will be looted and continue to be looted. So the issue that our politicians are doing is, but it's also a very shameful thing to we in labor circle. We pay dearly for the enthronement of democracy. We are the only force that join forces together to push back the military to the barrack, with the intention that when we have democracy in place, Nigerian workers, everybody will be contented, and the dividend of democracy will be given to us.
So what is?
But the reverse is the case. Since the military were pushed to the barrack, subsequent opposition governments, they are just filling their pocket without even thinking whether we survive or not.
Okay, but let me take you to what the forefathers pushed. They were pushing independence with a strong vision, but we can't find that strong vision anymore. What prompted all of this?
Yeah, it's still the same thing. Our forefathers, they have foresight. They know if we are united, because this country is blessed with many mineral resources that can bind us together, we don't have any cause to be part of the poor nation, I mean. But because we are lacking of good and qualitative leadership, that's what brings us to where we are today. This political elite, if not that it is not even right, one will have advocated for serious resolution. Let everybody of them leave the center stage for we, so that we can plan our future. I love one thing when they decide not too young yes, that bill is a welcome development. But if you look at the politics in Nigeria, it's very, very expensive. Who among the youth have the means to raise destruction and also follows the so-called looters we are talking about? So to me, it's good for future, but for now, let's watch and also be migrating gradually before we wrestle the power from them.
She mentioned something about independence, and you talked about how our forefathers talked about unity in this country. When you also look at the political parties and how they are formed, even before now, most of the political parties have always been formed along ethnic lines.
God bless.
You look at the Igbos who will say, okay, this is our own political party. The Yorubas will say this is ours, and then the Hausas say this is ours, and then every other group is left to align with whatever party suits their interests. I mean, what does that do rather for national unity?
Well, to me, it is even better we go back to two political parties. The kind of mushroom political party we have is not even helping us. Some are just an association that has no structure. If you look at the party, the core party members, they are the immediate family of the founder. They are there because they know as a political party, when election is coming, government will raise to assist the political party. It is better we have two strong parties. I'm not talking of the two front line we are saying. It is better we look at a very formidable party that cut across the ethnic groups. But if you say this one is for North, this one is for East, this one is for South, then we are bound to have kind of defection where we are seeing, and also the kind of collaboration that will be at the detriment of Nigerian progress. So it is better, our forefathers that laid down this procedure, it is true we have them on regional basis. But the way and manner they handle the situation, there was a collaboration with one another. Nobody speak a species the way they are saying it. Nobody even use religion or ethnicity to create disaffections among Nigerians. But nowadays, what we are seeing is that all politicians want to take advantage of everything to their own advantage. Because anytime they want to campaign, they will use one ethnic or religious aspect of it, and our religious leaders are not even helping the matter. The purpose of going to mosques and churches is for sermon, for you to go closer to your God. They have turned everything into a political arena now. They are part of the problem. So the politicians have penetrated them in inducing the spiritual leaders, so that they have nothing to offer than to find their way, whether in a crook manner, in anyhow, just to get into the power. Are
you saying the electorates are not aware that these people are just busy dividing them, so to speak, or dividing us? Are they not aware?
The electorates are aware because of the poverty that is enshrined in our day-to-day life. Some of them have no option. If they give them 4,000 or 5,000 now as an inducement, because they don't have anything to eat, they will collect it with an intention that, but forgetting that that is going to be the last one they will get another 4 years. And if they give them this money, that's why I said, anybody that offer you money that have not done anything for you in the past when he was there, and then still offering you an inducement, collect.
Well, if I may comment, because you talk about it as if it's just about poverty. When you look at the 2015 election, Buhari's highest votes came from Katsina and Kano, which was 1.9, 1.3 respectively. Jonathan's highest vote came from Rivers and then Delta, which was 1.4 and 1.1 million respectively. I mean, is it just about poverty or the idea of ethnicity as well?
That time, the election of 2015, it is a matter of my people. Even when some of them are campaigning, they were also canvassing for vote that puts your person in place. And everybody believed that if my person is in place, they will try to do our bidding. But everybody now, our eyes is clear. It is not as if until your person is there or your family is there that something better can be done. So it is better our politicians need to go for another reorientation. This is the right time for we voters. Since we have our PVC, our destiny is our hand. It's not left for us to know how we want our destiny to be. And to me, enough is enough. Anybody that is not doing the right thing, let's throw them out.
Okay, we have, because you talked about the parties now, that they should streamline those parties to two, because right now we have about 204 political parties. Canvassing for that, slated for the election.
I will also complain that the budget for the election is very high. Why go? It will continue to be high when we continue to have bogus number of the political parties. But everybody will have to have their own chair. And that is the purpose why politicians continue to create more parties.
Okay,
and there is a constitutional aspect of it that you cannot restrict anybody. So it is that clause need to be removed. Let us have, when Babangida was saying that it must be two parties. That was brought the idea of SDP and NRC. And that was, it was that time we have a very cohesive and good participation in politics. And at the end of the day, because the man has his own mindset, he truncated the whole process.
Okay, but looking at the parties that has been slated for these elections, the 204, parties slated for this election, are you saying that the people aren't aware that everybody that comes to say, I want to be president, they are coming for their own pockets? With what we have explained right now with the grid, how can we begin to sensitize the people? Because we are looking at how we can come together, the Igbo man, the Calabar man, the Hausa man, coming together to say, we do not want these mushrooms leaders. We do not want leaders that will not give us what we want. We want leaders that can stand for us. How do we do it?
Thank you very much. Firstly, when I go into social media, I saw a lot of comments here and there. And majority of them are youth. And politicians thought what gave APC victory in 2015 was as a result of social media. So every one of them now have their own persons sponsoring them to be campaigning and also be disrupting the trending on social media. For getting to know how many people have access to social media. The bulk of the voters that will go to the poll, they are not even on social media. And what the Federal Orientation Agency should have done, this is the time for them to educate people. Go around. And INEC also need to go around and educate the voters. Because some of these voters, they don't have access to television, they don't have access to radio. They don't even know what is going on. So anybody that try to do abracadabra politics with them, they quickly ship in and fall into it. And it won't help this nation. So the best thing for every one of us, you continue talking to yourself one after the other, so that the message will get to the grassroots. So nobody can just take me for granted. Nobody can tell me who to vote for. And since I have convinced to know who I'm going to vote for, if you bring money, that is part of the money you stole from the treasury.
We're going to
and it's my right to have
now.
it as a Nigerian.
We'll open the phone lines. You can call and ask questions or make your contributions. Yes, Precious, go ahead. You are advocating for a system where we streamline to 2 political parties. With the kind of situation that we have now, where
too close,
where we have Nigerians are struggling with what ideology these parties have. If Nigerians don't find any political parties that align with their own ideology, are we not going to have a situation where people become politically apathetic and disinterested?
Yes, but if you said we should allow them to be doing it the way they want to do it, there's no way we will get there. We can't continue to sit on fence. We must have active participation. Let all Nigerians belong to one political party or the other. Anyone that is not having a better manifesto that can better your life, you move away. So I don't see any crime from any politician moving from one political party to another. We know them, they are shallow. A time will come.
It happened in 2014.
That was the same thing. That was saying. The same people that said PDP was not good and they moved to APC. Now they've seen better side, what they forgot in PDP, they've gone back to it because what they were looking for, they've not yet seen it. The man that they thought would play ball, maybe he's not playing with the ball the way they want it. See, as a labor leader, I've been having interface with most of these politicians. Hardly you see 1 or 2 of them that have the love of this nation at heart. The most thing their target is how to loot the treasury. Impossible. If there's a way they can even have ATM, their ATM on Nigeria treasury, so that they can just be withdrawn at will, they will do it. After was a time I was in Dubai, one of my cameramen was taking me around. He took me to a marina in Dubai. He was showing me some very beautiful edifice over there. I so loved it. And to my own amazement, the guy told me that all these buildings belong to Nigerian politicians. Even mentioning names. I was so amazed. And most of these buildings were not being occupied by them. It is our money they looted out to get all these things fixed. I cannot even recollect my experience when I was also in UK too. A lot of things continue this way. We should tell them enough is enough.
Are you saying that today Nigerians can, or Nigeria itself cannot boast of one or two dynamic leaders that we can say that we can look up to in politics?
See, we should. I think we are not so daft. The most important thing is that how do you know? You know, when they get to that office, they are completely changed person. I have a person in politics, when he was outside the government circle, I know the kind of passion he has for Nigeria, the way he was talking eloquently. But when he got to power, I saw a different person.
So what do you think is
I'm coming.
What do you think is the cause?
And so, I met him. I said, I'm surprised. This is not the kind of person I know. He said, guy, you can't understand. The kind of breeze that is blowing here is quite different from what is outside. That is, that office that is corrupting them. And the followers are not even encouraging them. They continue to overpraising them as if they are next to God. Or some can even equate them with God. A politician, before he wake up in the morning, a lot of people will have their assembled outside, waiting for him to wake up for them to have ransom. Where do you expect him? If it's remuneration based on his salary, he can't be able to dish out money anyhow. But you are encouraging him to go in there and steal. Nigerians need to change our orientation too. Let us empower ourselves. Let's engage ourselves in one meaningful business or the other, so that let's depend on these politicians. They have nothing to offer us than to use us and dumb.
Could it be that we are intentionally, I'm looking at the politicians and leaders, some of the leaders intentionally make the economy not strive so that they can
take advantage of us? You get it right. They know if they fix this, if they do that, it's going to be, they won't have anything to campaign for. Imagine, what stops us from having regular light? When this government or that government is coming, you will also be campaigning that they will provide regular light. And when they get there, maybe the cabal, those who are in charge of generator sales, we prevent them from achieving that. And that's happened. Most of the problem, even in our own oil sectors. If not that, the president Buhari said is not ready to play the ball as usual. That's why we're having little sanity in the system. I'm not campaigning for him, but on that particular issue, see, there are a lot of things need to be fixed. Anybody that is involving in trade of war implements will never pray for war to come to an end.
If I may come in there, because we talk about politicians and the cabal, like, you know, they are the all in all in this country. Where does power lie? Is it with the politicians, is it with the cabal, or is it with the electorate?
If we're talking of good governance, everybody's a comparison of everybody. When we talk of good governance, the people, the government leadership, they are not doing the right thing. The cabal also, even if the leadership, political leader want to do the right thing, the cabal will bring them down. And if the cabal is done, if we also try to cooperate with the government, the masses will also do their own. So everybody is all joined together for us to have this kind of situation we have in this country. The cabal, okay, let me give you an example of in my own industry, oil and gas industry. Nothing stops us. When our forefathers discovered fuel, they knew the kind of complexity we have in the country. They built Warri Refinery to take care of concern of people at the south. They also build refinery at Port Harcourt that will take care of people in the east. One in Kaduna, take care of the entire north. Then the Atlasco in Lagos to take care of we Westerners. But subsequent government after the founding fathers have crippled all these refineries. Now gave rise to the importation. And the importation now has been the day-to-day business. And with this one now, it's not adding value to Nigeria economy, but it's adding value to their own pockets. But if you look at those importers, they are also the cabal are part of it. And at the same time, they also call for subsidy payment. Who is behind it? The same cabal. So they intentionally cripple the industry for them to have their way all the time. Until this present government said, no, this and that has to be fixed. Look at the road infrastructure going on. Even in the budget, we saw the kind of drama that was played at the National Assembly when they cut the budget because of their interest. And at the end of the day, some of the road will be abandoned. Another government will also come, will say, no, we are going to revisit it, and we reward it. It is part of the kind of problem we are facing in this country that is not making this country move forward.
Okay, with all of these things that even the Labour Party is aware of, because we want to also look at it, their own role. What is your role
Labour
as
Party Labour Party or Labour Movement?
Labour Movement. What's your role as United Labour Congress Chairman? What is your role? What are you people trying to plan? Remember that people are still saying that 18,000 minimum wage won't work. Things are not moving the way it should move. We're looking ahead of 2019. What are you people doing towards it?
See, the government, the politicians, they are trying to push us to the wall. I mean the Labour Movement. They shouldn't forget so soon that it is the same Labour that faced the people that were harmed. I mean the military. When we are fighting the struggle, most of these politicians, they absconded this country, they ran away. Until we wrestle power from the military, we will pay dearly for it. Like my former General Secretary, Franco Kokori, was incarcerated for 4 years for that severely act. That enough is enough of the military intervention in this country. But today, what is our dividend? 0. But they shouldn't forget, the same labor still remain the same labor. When we are also pushed to the wall, we tell them. Remember the issue of Halim must go. You can say this person must go too. Okay,
I'm going to hold you on there. I'll allow you to continue. There's a caller. Hello, good morning to you. Patrick.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Patrick.
A man here in the studio over there.
Yeah, good morning.
I come from Labour.
Yes, sir.
And Labour is the people who even contributed in the problem of Nigeria today. So for you to come to studio trying to offend Labour as a thing is making a very big mistake.
Tell us why.
Even he in that studio can even office and figure with facts. When you went to Dubai and they shot the manners of building, Nigerian money. They should be names, as you said, and tell you the names of the people that own the building. When all the politicians come on the television, they will not tell us things with facts. They are all.
Okay, Patrick.
Yes, I was going to ask that question just before he called you, because this is how a lot of Nigerians feel about Labour. They feel like, look, when Labour was active, the time when Labour was really active and fought for the people is past. That Labour right now has contributed to even most of the problems that the average Nigerian face.
No, I disagragree. It is true that some government officials have penetrated the rank and file of Labour. You can't rule it out.
Okay.
They know this only voice that can challenge them. We don't have strong opposition in Nigeria. No political party, be PDP or anyone, nobody can claim strong opposition. It is only Labour that can find that solution. You know, there was a time Labour will form Labour Party. It was hijacked from us by same politician. And after that, as I'm talking to you right now, they are still penetrating who to be the political leader in Labour movement.
Was it hijacked or you sold out?
How can we be sold out? It's not possible. It was, let me tell you, it was hijacked. Okay, when NUPENG and some of industrial labor unions we were with NLC, and we saw some kind of negative legs within the rank and file, then we say we can't be counted among these people, we pull out. Firstly, if first of us form a faction under NLC with expectation that our leaders, our federal will come together and put the house in order. But when we now saw it that it's not coming up that way, they under the Constitution of Nigeria, we have liberty to freedom of association. Then that was brought about United Labour Congress. And as a United Labour Congress, what's required of us by law to be registered, we have them and we've submitted to the government. But for the government now to issue this certificate to us as a formal recognition, whether they, you know, the freedom is by struggle. If you don't struggle, you cannot get your freedom.
Have they released it now?
They've not released, and when times come, they will be the one to beg us.
Okay, but we will need to wrap up now. Looking at all of these events, the electorate role, the politicians, and government role, what do you think we all need to do so that we don't begin to fight each other? We need to clear being biased with each other. What do you think?
The first thing I need to advocate is let Nigerians not allow themselves or their children to be used as political thugs. Because most of these politicians, their children are not in this country. They were all schooling abroad. When they need political thuggery, they will never invite their children from where they are to come and be part of it. It is me and you today they will have to come out and say do this, do that. And in that call, and if someone lost his life, that is the head of that person. So we should not allow our politicians to always take advantage of us by using our children, ourselves as political talk. That's the one. Then number two, the power that is given to us is our PVC. If you've not collected your PVC, I've heard severally when INEC was telling you that they have some PVC that yet to be collected. Why are we doing that? Everybody should go and pick his own. So when election comes, then you vote your conscience. Nobody should dictate for you. And apart from that one, we can, if you know that you can do it, please join the race.
We want to thank Comrade Alhaji Korodo Tokumbo, the United Labour Congress chairman and the former NUPENG chairman, Lagos Zone. Good morning once again, and thank you for coming.
I appreciate it.
Well, we'll go on this break, and when we come back, Superdawn Sports will continue. Please stay with us.
Superdawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every